Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to compare the latest eero mesh systems to each other, starting with the budget-friendly eero 6 Plus, to the mid-range eero Pro 6C, to the premium eero Max 7. So we're going to talk about their specs, ports, speed tests, range tests, have all those numbers here. I did use the following Wi-Fi devices for all my testing purposes, and in addition, we'll talk about the eero app since they all use the same app. And at the end, I will give you guys my opinion on which mesh system is good for which scenario. Let's just jump straight in. Starting with the eero 6 Plus, this is a dual band Wi-Fi 6 system with two auto-sensing gigabit ports, which means no matter which one you connect your modem to, it'll automatically detect it, and then you're free to use the other one for something else. If you guys want to know the various ways of connecting this stuff, I have a separate setup guide to show you guys all the different possible ways of doing that. Links below if you guys are interested. And it is powered via USB-C, and we do have a factory reset on the bottom, which you pretty much don't need in most cases. Then we move up to the Pro 6C, which is a tri-band Wi-Fi 6E system. So automatically you get an additional band with the Pro 6E versus the 6 Plus. Now, the advantage of that band is that if you have 6E devices like the Galaxy S23 Ultra, iPhone 15 Pro Max as examples, they can connect to that band assuming they're close enough to this, and that band usually results in much faster speeds. Now, even if you don't have these devices, it can actually, the eero can use that band and does use that band in a wireless backhaul setup to provide faster wireless speeds if these, again, are wirelessly talking to each other. So there are some advantages to that. The other advantage is that it has a 2.5 gigabit port. Now all the eeros are auto sensing, so, and they're all powered via USB-C, so I'm kind of fast forwarding through that. But in addition to that, again, 2.5 gigabit speeds. Now the one caveat here is that let's say you have internet speeds of up to 2 gigs. Well, if you use this port, it comes in as 2 gigs. Now the Wi-Fi devices like this one can connect to this if they're close enough to it and get faster than gigabit speeds. I don't know if they'll get to 2 gigs, but they'll get closer to it. But as soon as you come out of this port, you're actually being capped to gigabit speeds because this is a gigabit port. So I do wish the Pro 6C had two fast 2.5 gigabit ports. And then we have the factory reset on the bottom right here. And then we get to the premium eero Max 7, which is also a tri-band system. However, this is now supporting Wi-Fi 7. And Wi-Fi 7 has a lot of advantages, but really the main one, there's two apparent ones, but the main one is it supports MLO, which stands for multi-link operation, which basically means if you have a compatible Wi-Fi 7 device like the OnePlus 11, it can actually connect to more than one band at the same time, resulting in crazy fast speeds, which I will show you guys momentarily. And in addition to that, again, powered via USB-C, this is the factory reset, but we get 4 ports, and 2 of the 4 ports are 10 gigabit ports. So I feel like eero did a fantastic job of listening to some of the complaints on the eero Pro 6C, where it's like, hey, can we have 2 of the same speeds? So if it goes in and comes out at the same speeds, and they did that with the Max 7, which is fantastic. So aside from that, we also have 2 2.5 gigabit ports, and this Max 7 is really a phenomenal router. For the power supplies, the 6 Plus uses a 15 watt, the smallest in size. The Pro 6C and the Max 7 have the pretty much identical shape and size. However, power requirements, the Pro 6C is at 27 watts, where the Max 7 is at 45 watts of power. Now you can ignore the labels. I label this stuff because I have a lot and I need to keep track of them. Next we get to internet speed test. Now, no matter how fast your router is, when you're accessing the internet, you are limited by your internet speeds, unless of course the router itself is the limiting factor, which in my case, both of these are, because my internet speeds are 5 gigabits per second upload and download, and these don't have ports fast enough to support those speeds. So the only one that can actually support those speeds is the eero Max 7. But as of now, as of the current firmware, even the eero Max 7, even though in theory it's just supported, and I have high hopes they're going to fix this very soon, but as of now, my download speeds, I got pretty close at 4.7 gigabits per second download, but my upload speeds were around 3.6 gigabits per second upload. So the upload speeds could use some work on the eero Max 7. I think they should fix this because, I mean, I have high hopes they're going to fix it because it does have 10 gig ports. So now Wi-Fi devices are a different story. So looking at the results, we could see that the 6 Plus does cap the speeds to under gigabit. And in fact, being capped to under gigabit, the speed tests for this are actually pretty good. Better than a decent amount of other mesh systems that I tested that are capped to gigabit speeds. These actually did fairly well, which surprised me. I really believe the Eero 6 Plus is a great system for the price. And then the Pro 6C obviously got faster, and the Eero Max 7, I mean, just looking at the Wi-Fi 7 speeds, it's just out of this world, crazy fast. And this is really where connecting to 3 bands at the same time on different channels, like doing things simultaneously, really speeds things up. And this is really what MLO is about, multi-link operation. So one thing worth mentioning, if you have a Pixel 8 or Pixel 8 Pro, these do support Wi-Fi 7. However, as of right now, I was unable to get them to connect to more than 1 band at the same time. So I didn't get the crazy fast speeds from the test with these like I did with the OnePlus 11. So these gave very similar speeds to the Wi-Fi 6E that connected to the 6 GHz band. Again, very good speeds, but I was unable to get them to connect to more than 1 band at the same time. Now, this is not an eero problem because I tried the same pixels on my other Wi-Fi 7 systems, including the Orbi 970, the Deco BE85, and the Netgear Nighthawk RS700. So just like those, I was unable to get to those speeds. So hopefully there is an update that addresses that issue, but as of now, the OnePlus 11 is the one that does deliver the crazy fast speeds. Now, to find the true performance of these mesh systems, I need to do a local speed test. So I make my computer into the server and I go from Wi-Fi device to router to computer. And in the case of wired and wireless backhaul, I go from Wi-Fi device to the secondary one, which then jumps to the primary one, which then goes to my computer, which is acting as a server. What this does is it isolates the router or the node or access point or extender or satellite, whatever you want to call it, but I don't use my ISP, my internet service provider, and I don't use the public speed test server. So I get the true performance out of this thing. Now, looking at these results, these typically result in better speeds, as you guys can see all across the board, starting with the Eero 6 Plus, pretty much just under gigabit speeds. The Eero Pro 6C is doing a lot better as well. And so is for the Eero Max 7, both for the Wi-Fi 7 and Wi-Fi 6E devices, getting much better numbers overall. Next, we jump into the wired backhaul numbers. So with the Eero 6 Plus gave pretty much the same numbers as the single router configuration, which is what I would expect. But with the Pro 6C, you'll notice that it's actually a lot slower to just under gigabit speeds. And again, this is because as soon as it comes out of the 1 gigabit port, it does cap the speed. So the fastest you can get on wired backhaul are pretty much just under gigabit speeds. But with the Eero Max 7, I pretty much got the same numbers whether I was on wired backhaul or on the single router configuration. Next, we jump into wireless backhaul. So wireless backhaul, the 6 Plus did the worst because it's a dual band system. And the Pro 6C, I'm happy to report that with my new testing, just like with my 6 Plus, I also retested the Pro 6E. It looks like there was a firmware update since when I initially tested it that did address the issue. So I did get much faster speeds now, because when I initially tested it, I wasn't getting very good speeds in the past. But none of these are close to the Eero Max 7. It's just absurdly fast compared to the other two, and this is kind of what you're paying for. Next, we jump into range tests. So range will vary vastly by location. If you're in between floors, if you have a lot of thick walls, if you're in a building with a lot of other routers around, all of this stuff can negatively impact your range. Essentially, more obstructions, less range, typically speaking. Now, all of these were tested in the same exact environments. So looking at the numbers at 20 feet away, hardly a drop across the board. At 50 feet, this is when I'm outside. Across the board, there is a drop, definitely, but still getting extremely fast numbers. And at 100 feet, this is when I'm across the street and still getting very usable numbers. Now, the thing to note here is that the Eero 6 Plus did much better than the Eero Pro 6C at 100 feet away. And in addition to that, the Eero 6 Plus was almost, not quite, but almost as good as the Eero Max 7. So for setup and configuration, use the Eero app. It's available both on iOS and on Android, and it's a super clean, very well organized app. It's amazing when it comes to that. So it tells you what to connect where. If you're doing a wireless backhaul setup, it tells you like, oh, the signal's great or it's not great. It really just simplifies things. You can even link your Amazon account to it and use that. So it's really very, very well done. And one of the things that it offers is if you have certain devices like the latest Echo Dot 5th generation, you can actually use that to extend your Wi-Fi even further. So there are a few options like that. That's actually kind of cool. However, and you do get some options like you can set up DHCP and port forwarding and a few other things. You can run it in bridge mode. So there are a few options, but overall, it's actually a pretty limiting app. So unlike the ASUS app, which gives you more options than I personally would need, and I think most people would need, ASUS gives an absurd amount of options. The eero is kind of the opposite, where they really simplify it, but they really limit what you can do. And even with parental controls, if you want parental controls, that requires a separate subscription. Now, in the subscription, you get some other goodies with that, but the fact is that if parental controls are important to you and you don't want to pay a subscription, then pretty much look elsewhere. Now to summarize, if you have internet speeds of up to gigabit and you're planning on using wired backhaul, I would definitely go with the eero 6 Plus. Price per performance on this is unbeatable. Deal-wise, this thing is phenomenal for what you get for what you pay, especially when it's on sale. It's absurdly good. And not just even in the eero lineup, just overall testing a whole bunch of systems. You know, I really like Deco systems, but I really, really like this eero 6 Plus for the price for what you get. It really, really has impressed me. I mean, it's not perfect, but considering the price, it's done extremely well. So if you have up to gigabit speeds and you're planning on using wireless backhaul, you could still go with the 6 Plus, but with the latest firmware, it does appear like the Pro 6C delivers better wireless backhaul speeds. So I would consider coming to tri-band territory. And if you're increasing your internet speeds, I mean, this can handle technically up to the 2.5 gigabit. But if you're doing wired, I would just jump to the Max 7 because you have full 210 gig ports on these, so you can have a 10 gig LAN out of it and stuff. And yeah, there is an issue right now with the firmware. At least I experienced it. Maybe someone else wouldn't. I don't know. But from what I experienced, it did look like it couldn't get to quite to my 5 gig speeds right now. But I'm assuming that should be fixed in due time. It does have the 210 gig ports on there. It even has two 2.5 gig ports. So really, performance-wise, Max 7 is the way to go, except it, it obviously costs a lot more money. So that's for you to decide. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. And I have way more comparisons and other routers coming up. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the support. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.